It's time to get ready with me. I'm going to do a full face of clean beauty. I'm going to talk about what happened last week. I have some results that I want to share with you if you've been following along. So there's a lot of stuff. Grab a cup of coffee, tea, water, whatever you feel like drinking. Stick around and here we go. Quick note at the beginning of the video. There may be some trigger warnings here. Just keep that in mind. There you go. Moving on. I'm filming it on Sunday, but we're gonna do a get ready with me Monday because I want to stick to the schedule. Yes. I've got a giant thing of filtered water. I'm trying to get through 4 of these a day. I have the camera a little bit closer today because you can just watch the makeup going on the face a little bit more clearly. Yeah, that said, let's just start getting ready. If you like my Get Ready With Me Mondays and you want to support the channel, take 2 quick seconds, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. So thank you for that. I am testing the Typology Serum tint. I have this in type 2 light and I also have medium. You can buy one and get the other one for half off. The shade matching, they have other resources and content that can help you with that on their website, but I had trouble with it. I was struggling a little bit. When I got the 2, I'll do a full review. The light one I think is working out better for me, so now I have a full thing of medium, but you can mix them together. You can play, you can do whatever you want. A lot of people were complaining about this dropper. I've had no problem. I've prepped with SPF. I have the SAIE SPF on my face. I have brows that I'm going to talk about in a second, and that's pretty much it. Let's start, shall we? The drama. Very easy to glide on, by the way, with your fingers. Oh, you know what else? I also did the Evolve Radiant Glow face mask, which is just the most mild mask. It's a physical exfoliating scrub, so you don't want to do it too often, but, or at least I don't for my skin. I won't speak for your skin. So my skin's a fan, and the other reason I love it is because makeup goes on like a dream. Like a dream. You kind of feel like you just got a facial. I've actually never gotten a facial. I'm a little terrified of getting facials because I have sensitive skin and the less I do, the better my skin is. That's just me. So fun fact, never had a facial. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna use the Saint concealer. Saint is on 20% off this weekend, I believe. So jump on that. This is one of my favorite concealers ever. It's such a good concealer and it doesn't get a lot of buzz. You're welcome. I'm not being paid to say this. I just really like it. It will be, by the way, in the latest round of Britt's picks, which is coming together fast and furiously, so I'm gonna post that on the site. It's very warm, it's like humid all of a sudden. I feel like October we should be in fall, but we're not there yet. And that's okay. I appreciate the sun. I always appreciate the sun. By the way, links to everything that I'm using will be below in the description, and you can shop if you would like to shop. And if I have any promo codes, I'll also include them so you can get, you know, a couple bucks off. Back to the results, right? So what are you talking about, Brittany? Why are you talking about results? What are you talking about? In the last roundup that I did, I talked about the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. And I'm now halfway through the book. Last week was just a blur. Honestly, it was one of those weeks where you're like, you get to Thursday and you go, wait, how is it Thursday? I'm trying something new, by the way, so I'm gonna cut myself off. I'm gonna put this Ritual de Fille High Priestess Metamorphic Highlighter for High Priestess. I feel like a High Priestess, but it's this opal, it is not subtle and it's opalescent, and I'm gonna put it on the cheeks. It's sort of like the cream equivalent to the Maya Chia highlight of the day, which is one of, oh, it's so good. You don't want to use too much of it or else you're gonna look like opal face, which I've said before, and it's just the phrase I like to use. But I'm putting this on, oh, you know what? I was supposed to put this on underneath the tinted hair. So far, so good. So far, so good. Totally going not according to my plan. And you know what? I think that's okay. I was gonna put this on underneath and then do a layer of the serum tint, but this will show you, I'll build on top of it so you can see how that tint builds, and then have some little luminosity showing through without looking too obvious for daytime. That's what I'm going for here. And then I just, yeah. I waffled back and forth making the decision about the small habit that I was going to change, actually the system that I was going to change. Look back at that video if you want to learn what I'm talking about, but essentially in a nutshell, small baby steps, small habits make big changes, like butchering the theme. I'm loving the book, huge fan of it, and I was trying to figure out what my small, like 1% changes. Again, talks about making these small changes. There's a reference to 1% in the previous video, but if you make a small 1% change every day, moving in the right direction, not just about the goal, then you're on the right trajectory, which is the important part here. It's not just hitting the goal, it's the trajectory. And I couldn't decide what I wanted my goal to be about. Normally I would make it about the website or the channel, business in general, and just push that. Then I decided there's like the, neck down life that goes on, which is my everyday life, which is 90% of what I do, and you're only seeing my neck up here. I wasn't feeling healthy, and I sort of had let my health go on the back burner a little bit. A lot of us did. For me, it wasn't the nutritional part or the supplement part or whatever. It was more, my body just wasn't strong. It wasn't strong, and I was not moving enough. There was too much sitting. So I thought, okay, let's try to create a system that allows me to change that easily, and so I can get on autopilot so it doesn't have a high cognitive load. Big word for like, I don't have the brain capacity to even think about having to make a decision right now. I just need to do it and know that it's going to happen at this time every day. I'm using the KOSAS brow gel, by the way. I love it. The pencil, there's so much plastic involved in that pencil. This guy. However, it's lasting me a really long time. So I kind of wish this was refillable like the PLUME, because I love the PLUME, but it goes so fast. So if KOSAS made this refillable and put it in, I don't know, an aluminum, infinitely recyclable type of container, which totally goes against their branding, but hi, Earth versus branding, we're not there yet as a society, but we're getting there. I would love it. I would shout it from the rooftops. I would tell everybody I walk past during the day, get this brow pencil. But until then, Anyway, it does last longer though, so it makes me feel a little bit better. Back to I'm gonna be flipping flopping because I'm caffeinated, so hold on to your biscuits. So I created this new system. It sounds very intense. It was very complicated. No, it wasn't. Basically, I said 8 o'clock every day, get on the treadmill. I love my treadmill. I love walking. I usually do it for mental health. It works. It's worked for me since high school. It's the one thing, a non-negotiable that I have to have in my life. Funnily enough, when I was leaving the Bay Area and moving to Sacramento for that dark year, living across the capital during a pandemic, during an election year, I did have a treadmill, but I never got on it. And my body suffered as a result. So I said, okay, let's, instead of doing it always about the business, let's do it for yourself. Let's do it for my body. And what really hit home was going out to dinner. It was one of the first times I had gone out to dinner. We were sitting outside, but getting ready for dinner, everything I put on, it felt awful. Now, I have been in stretchy leggings, no bra. It's been glorious. Like, we've all been in that unconstricted mode. And it's like, who wants to go back to not that? But there comes a day when you kind of want to have support. And maybe wear denim, not a legging. But my face looked really good. I loved my makeup, but I was very uncomfortable. So that really cemented it for me. I created this 8 o'clock 1% change, and then I started building a system around that. So what do I mean by system? I wanted to make sure that it was easy for me to get on the treadmill. By the way, this is fast becoming a favorite, and I cannot talk and put on eyeliner. It's very difficult for me, so BRB. That means getting ready, getting dressed was a big one for me. Not waiting on that, so I was already ready already. Charging any of the devices. I listen to podcasts, I listen to music, I make playlists. Best workouts for me are when I just listen to music, so make the playlist. Have a smoothie ready, because sometimes I don't like working out fasted, it makes me nuts. All of those little things I just started prepping. Little things that made it a lot easier for me to not have to think about getting onto the treadmill every day, and I did it. I got on the treadmill, I'd say almost every day, and it was for about 45 minutes every day. And there were some days like, my, I don't know, people are so squeamish about saying their period or their like flow. Let's just say your period, guys. It's like not the end of the world. That happened, and I was not really a fan of getting on the treadmill. But I did. I got on that day. And on the days that I missed, I went, okay, what could I do better so I don't miss a day? And this is not high impact. I couldn't put myself through this to have, you're not supposed to do high impact every day. It's not good on your body. It's not good for me. I'm not a doctor, consultant expert. This is not medical advice, but I know for my body, I needed to start something low impact, easy, just get the body moving, the blood pumping, the oxygen flowing. The days when I really didn't want to get on, I've watched that Mel Robbins 5-second rule. You know, you're not always going to want to do something, but you should do it. But I also believe you should listen to your body. So I'm not really the person who says push through the pain all the time. That's not me. I have a holistic approach. I believe in the yin and the yang to it. So just keep that in mind. That's who I am as a person. But on days when I really didn't want to do it, I said just stand on the treadmill, walk for a minute, and then you could be done. That's it. You can just do a minute. While some days I didn't even do that, it kept it consistent for me. And for the days that I actually just got on there and said all you have to do is a minute, all you have to do is a minute, I went for 45. Those were my longest days. That's how I did it anyway, in a nutshell. It's kind of not in a nutshell, it's kind of long and convoluted, but I did it. And again, I did not do this to lose weight. However, here's the other part of the story. I have always gotten labs done every year, and something happened when I was in San Francisco, and I just kind of fell off the going to the doctor wagon. Anyway, I go back into the doctor, I had this appointment, had labs done, got my baselines. You just kind of feel better after. I do. I hate it, the passion. I always make sure I go get ice cream after I get a blood test because I'm a baby. I'm not terrified of many things, but I hate blood tests. Who likes them? And I hate tornadoes. Anything having to do with tornado, now you know. So if I were having to get a blood test in the middle of an F5 tornado, that's like my own personal hell. Hasn't happened yet, so I think we're okay. The results that I received were good. It makes me very grateful for the body that I'm in, so it was really important to have that. However, there were some readings that were a little elevated or a little low. I was waiting at the doctor's office and I was like, no. It's not right. It's not right. So that also helped me motivate myself to do the 1% on my body. How I feel is what motivates me the most. But having those numbers to measure against is also very helpful for me. This is just a personal approach. So I saw that number, I got on the treadmill. I've done it now for 2 weeks. So I got this scale. I said, okay, I'll check my weight in 6 months. Well, I was right next to it and I thought I really want to weigh the cat because the cat was looking a little fat. God love her, she's so adorable, but I don't want her to get too big, you know? Gotta take care of Blue too, right? So I held her, tried, got her weight, she's fine. And then as a result, I saw my weight. I lost 7 pounds. 7 freaking pounds. And did I change my food? Yeah, because I want this to be about energy and stuff too, but it was not drastic. My results are really positive in that respect, but they're also very positive in my mood and everything. I'm starting to feel like a little less uncomfortable in my skin. And on days when I don't feel good, hormones have so much to do with this. I'm not even gonna get into the hormone side of this on this video. It would go on for 3 hours. So much of what I'm learning too is not just about the intake. The feeling that I'm talking about, feeling good, when you pass a certain age, like hormones change at every age. While I've only been halfway through Atomic Habits, I've been reading all about hormones from different experts. Love to go see an endocrinologist or a naturopath or a functional medicine doctor. I have all these, just to learn like what's going on in my body. If I can help it now, then I can help it more in my 50s and 60s and 70s. It's just become way more important. Maybe this is what people do. But yeah, overall I would say, I totally lost my train of thought there, but I just got really excited. Oh, I know what I was saying. When I feel uncomfortable on those days, I already know, hey, listen, you did something. Whereas before, I would just say, I'm too tired. It's a weird cycle because when I stop moving, then I don't want to move. And then I don't want to eat that well. And then I have to get back up and it takes 10 times more effort to get that momentum going. At least when I had bad days or when I felt not great or whatever, it's not perfect every day and these aren't sweeping changes and there's no like epic crescendo and transformational before after. At least I knew that I was doing something and it didn't feel like, because of the book, it didn't feel like I was forcing or pushing towards a goal. And that is why I love these books like this that aren't like, don't eat legumes, don't eat beans. No, none of that. That doesn't work for me. I love a book that opens my eyes to a different way of looking at my life and living. I'll take bits and pieces. I don't have to do the whole thing and I will apply what I want to my life. And in this case, it was really very successful for me. It is changing my life, but it's changing the way I think about my life. And that distinction is important because it doesn't feel like if I miss a day, I'm mad at myself or I can be very hard on myself. I think this is a very common thing that you might be able to relate to. but with this I said, you know, you took a step towards that forward movement and that trajectory, and I used the phrase, so now what? I've used it when I started with clean beauty. It takes me from stagnant to moving forward, and it works for me. And I don't know why it works for me, but it works for me. I said this previously in a video, I don't know which one, but when I first started with clean beauty, I was cleaning up my routine, right? You're trying to remove things that could be harmful to you, which is different for every human being. There is no universal definition of clean, as we know. Also, I was detoxing those things from my life, and I've never really liked the word detox, but that's really what it was. And while I'm not going to do a detox with food, I don't want to drink charcoal, I don't want to do the like fasting cleanse. It was very big in California. Everybody did one. I swear, almost all my friends would do one once a year. They're like, oh, it's February, I'm gonna do my detox, my juice cleanse. Great. Whatever works for you, it makes you happy, even though they weren't very happy when they were on it. I mean, who would be? You just had juice. However, now I find that I'm at a phase where I'm doing sort of that, but without the focus on what I'm removing, it's more about what I'm swapping. So I guess it's more of a swap. And I've swapped all my makeup products. I have great makeup products that my skin likes, I feel good putting on. And now I'm swapping my daily lifestyle habits. And it started with this book, and I think this was the perfect first book to read because it sets up the framework that I'm going to use for all the future things I want to try. And I want to try so much, so much. Hene Blissful, this is one of my favorite poems. And I'm not saying diets. I don't want to try diets. I really don't. I want to learn about different ways to look at living this thing we call life. There's different ways to do it, and I want to know what other people have done and what they have to say about it. And you know, maybe there's different ways that I can use that information to change things up and swap out things that make me feel not so great with things that make me feel good. Focus on adding in the good. I did this course for the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. It's all about becoming a health coach. I haven't become a health coach, but I loved the course and I was very gung-ho about the whole thing. And one of the metaphors that I loved, or the analogies that I loved, is the visual of a plate. And say you have a lot on your plate and it's not just food. It's like, did you have fun today? Did you laugh? Do you have good connections with your family and friends? You know, there are all these little pieces of the plate that make up the full meal that is your life. And I loved how it wasn't just about removing this piece, this like donut from your plate, or this toxic person from your plate, or this toxic negative thought pattern from your plate. Focus was on what are you going to swap in its place. And that made it less hard on a person. It's not like, you better stop doing that. Oh, you did it. Because of course you're going to do it. You're going to mess up. We're human. But instead of doing that, you focus on what you can add in. So I'm really kind of leveraging that thought. That's a perfect example of learning something and applying it to my life. And I'm leveraging that perspective on things going forward. So I'm kind of, if you couldn't tell, I'm very hyped up about this. There's so much more to say about it. So I'm considering turning these little weekly experiment swaps into a podcast. I've been hinting at that a lot over here. There's a book called Complaint Free Zone that I learned about in my yoga group when I was in Dallas. And while I don't necessarily agree with 100% of what's in the book, it was enlightening. You try to go 30 days without complaining. Also, there's this whole like toxic positivity side of things. I'm not saying that it's, yes, nobody should ever complain again. I feel like venting is a healthy thing. I do it, whatever. But that would be really fascinating to try for a week and then report back to you. So I can do it in snippets here in these Get Ready With Me Mondays, but I'm thinking of doing that over there. So over there would be a podcast. So I am done for the day for my look. This is it. It's very simple, very easy. And I loved everything that I put on my face. So this was, well, the only if is the Typology, and I will give you a full review on this, but everything else that I applied today, absolute favorites at this point. So I'm a huge fan of these products. This isn't a first impression video. I'm giving away some of my favorites here. So check the links below if you want to see what I'm talking about. Be back in touch soon with a full review for the Typology Tinted Serum. It's an interesting product that's been getting all kinds of buzz. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this one, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I hope you have a really good day. I hope this inspired you, or at least made you laugh at a weird joke, or made you smile, or I don't know, inspired you to find a new clean beauty makeup item, something. I just hope it helped. I hope it did something positive and had a positive impact in your life. I will see you all right back here real soon. Until then, bye.